problem tells us to rewrite each series using summation notation. Let's do example B. In this problem, I need to figure out if it's an arithmetic, geometric, or neither. I recognize as I go from the numbers, they're decreasing. Now pay attention. What's happening? Okay. But with your ratio, you can't do dividing by 2. Ah, someone remembers you multiply by a fraction, which is what? 1/2. Okay, let me give you an example. Dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. I found funny statistics on my website. Of the 27,000 views on my YouTube channel, 70% are viewers aged 24 to 32.
What the heck?
That sounds kind of funny because I'm a high school math teacher, so most high school students are between 15 and 18, which means that majority of my students, I think, are not telling the truth on their age. Anyways, so I just want to use that to throw out a number. So 32, if I divide that by 2, I want to prove to you that's the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. Class, how do you make 32 a fraction?
Yes.
You put it over 1, and if I multiply it by 1/2, I want to prove to you it's the same. Class, let's multiply across. 32 times 1 is, and 1 times 2 is 2. So dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. Partner B, tell partner A why they're the same. Ready, set, go. Okay, so we recognize that we're essentially dividing by 2 or multiplying by 1/2 in all of these. So my ratio is 1/2. Let me show you guys a second strategy of getting that ratio. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label, this is my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh number in my list. Ratio means a fraction. So what you can do is you can take your G2 value and divide it by your G1 value. So you get 32 times 1 over 64. And 64 can be written as 32 times 2. So if I simplify here, my ratio is 1/2. 32 over 64 can be reduced to 1/2. Let me just do one more. You could do a random one. Let's do G6 over G5. And you did this back in Math 4 when you were finding the similarity of triangles, like their ratios of their sides. Yeah. So 2 over 4, and 4 is 2 times 2. 2 is 2 times 1. Simplify, and you'll get a ratio of 1/2. So here's a different way of getting 1/2. The other person, explain the second way we use to find the ratio. Ready, set, go. Alright, so now we need to make this in summation notation. So I'm going to write the E. It's telling me to start on the first number in the list. And we're going to go all the way to what number? 7. So on the top is the end. Everyone say end. And this one is the start. Start, end. My G1 value is what? 64. And what is our R value? 1/2. R value is 1/2. And then you just have this generic formula, I minus 1. And this is your answer. So if you think about it, we're kind of working backwards, and let me show you guys how this summation notation works.
Wait, so that's the answer. That's the answer?
This is our answer. It says rewrite each series using summation notation. Notice it does not say find the sum of the series. That's what you guys are used to. So it's just kind of doing a step. But let me show you how it works. Angelique, can you pick a number for us between, pick a number over here, 3 to 7. 4. It says G4, which means it's the 4th number in the list. I is equal to 4. Class, what is 4 minus 1? So it's basically saying 1/2 to the 3rd power. That means 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2, which is 1/8. 1/8 times 64. Remember, multiplying by a fraction is the same thing as dividing by that number. So 64 divided by 8 is 8. And that's our answer. That's how you get the 4th number on the list. So the other day, we were kind of starting here and then creating the list. This one gives us a list, and we're using summation notation.